happening in Bell Time 3 p.m. But I am honored that these three lovely women have flown here. Each and every single lady on this panel is not from, well, one is from here, but everybody commuted to come out. So please give them a round of applause for coming out and supporting Black wrestling, because this is what this is about. So I'm gonna let each lady introduce themselves. So just tell everyone your name, what you do for the wrestling business, and what's one random thing about you. I want this to be as personal as possible because everybody that knows us, we're family. Like everybody here, we're family. So I want everybody to kind of get to know the lovely ladies here. So we'll start with my lovely sister to my
Hey y'all!
Actually, before you start, I am going to ask everybody in the building, if you are, please try to keep your conversations to a minimum. If you do need to step out, please step outside. What these women are going to talk about and what we're going to discuss is very important, so I just ask for the respect for the panel, okay?
Hey y'all again. My name is Stephanie Hardy and I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, and I'm the host and creator of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, which is indeed my last name, no relation to the Hardy Boys. And I am the co-host of Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. And I'm also a commentator for the Belladonna division, which is the first all-female promotion in the state of Alabama.
Hey everybody. How y'all doing?
Hi, Kiki.
I'm Kiki. Some of y'all know me as Kiki. That's actually my real name. So Kiki or Kiki, one or the other. I am from Dallas, Texas. Shout out to the Cliff. Shout out to Juneteenth. I have my own show, All with Kings. I am partnered with Public Enemies Podcast. Make sure y'all follow them. You can also find me in Texas. I do a lot of, as people call it, backyard English commentator. It don't matter, I'm the best at it. I do that.
Hello everyone. My name is MJ Jenkins. Hashtag a whole lot of woman. Professional motherfucking wrestler. Ambitious and also Afro-licious, and I am from right up the block at Summer Pride. Where's Tiana?
She right there.
I play double dutch with her, y'all. Right here. But I am a professional wrestler. I got my break in Impact Wrestling in 2016. Also, I got my break in WWE 2018 in the Mae Young Classic. And just recently, I got to work with NWA in a wrestling match with Genocide. So, keep it pulse.
I like that energy.
I love the extras, because that's what we're about. Because they can't handle sometimes the sassiness and the extras, and you being you, and that sometimes is the problem in professional wrestling. So continue to be you, because that's what's going to keep the needle moving. So first question to the table to the ladies is, let's see, what does being a Black woman in professional wrestling mean to you? So as all of us, we have different titles, we have different roles. But what does it mean for you to be a Black woman in professional wrestling? I'm gonna let the To be a black woman in professional wrestling, I can truly say all eyes are on you 24/7, right? And it can be good, and it can also be considered negative. However, I've noticed with everything that I have done, either it's praise, right? Of course it always gets praised. But if it's not for me, it somehow gets taken and put on someone else that's fair skin. Someone who just used my own hashtag for the program. But I'm not gonna get into that. I can honestly say it's a blessing, and I feel like I get to represent for me because some people expect us to fit in this one box. They expect us to be loud or ghetto and expect us to, just be something that we're not. And me, I like to sing. So I usually sing my entrance. And I remember being in the business, everyone would be so surprised because they want me to be the black dominated girl that we always see. You always have your Jacksons and your Jacquelines, and every African-American woman was always that. So I like being a black woman wrestler because it allowed me to be myself, it allowed me to be me, and it allowed me to be just motherfucking natural. So,
That's right.
and it also, we are part of a huge legacy in the lineage. So to belong to that and know that I'm a part of something that other young girls can look at, right? And also young men can look at, and they know, literally, my elementary school was right at the block from here, PS 59. So, and I remember I came home, maybe 2018, and my picture was in the WWE WrestleMania booklet. And my mom still lives in the hood, y'all. And when I came to visit, everyone was like, yo, Mom, this is you? Like, you have no idea. I'm getting chills when I say that. That feeling is like something undescribable because when I can do it, I know we all can do it. And there's room for all of us everywhere in professional wrestling.
Yes.
Same question. What it means to me personally, it allows the world to see that it is different variations of black women. It's not just simple like one type of black woman. I know I get a lot of help when I first came. I got a lot of help from how I am. I am more open, I am direct. Some things that I say may be misconstrued because of how I say it. I can go back of going as a kid watching Jenkins and being at Jenkins from Dallas and not too far from where I'm from. It meant a lot to me. It just showed because Jenkins is a strong person. If you know her outside of wrestling, she's a very strong person. She's very direct as well as me. So to see someone like Jacqueline or Jazz, different women that's in the indies, black women, that does make an impact. And I want to say this as well. I don't know if everybody's paying attention, but it is people stealing from black women that's in the indies. Say it again. I'm going to say it one more time. It is people, especially people in the pro industry are stealing, like you said, promos, ways, all of that's from black women that's in the indies. So I just want to say y'all are very influential. Y'all are important to the culture. And that's all I gotta say.
Well, I know for me, being a black woman in wrestling is like a sisterhood. Because it's just, there have been so many women that have come before me, who I looked up to and watching wrestling And growing up in the 90s, you did have Jacqueline and you did have Jasmine. And so now that I'm older, I'm seeing so many women do so many amazing things in wrestling. And it just makes me want to try harder. And it makes me want to work harder because it's like, there is so much that we have been through as Black women, not only just in wrestling, but just in America as a whole, where we have been building up so many people all the time, but then they'll leave us behind whenever we need help. And it's just, and I really feel like when it comes to Black women in wrestling now, the wrestling business owes us so much. And for us to be unapologetic about taking it, that is one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen. And I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I'm humbled to be a part of it. And I'm just so glad that so many of these women have rallied around me as I started. And I feel like it's only going to get greater from here.
Yes. So the true sisterhood, I think that's one of the things that I always love about wrestling is the family and the sisterhood and the brotherhood aspect, because to see Black men come together and be positive, see Black women coming together and be positive and about the same thing that we all got scrutinized and forget about, that's always gonna be the thing for me. So the next question is, what has been one of your personal struggles in professional wrestling, and how has it shaped your outlook on it? Yes, we're gonna get deep. I didn't warn y'all, we're gonna get deep. So once again, I'm gonna actually start with the fabulous Kiki from Dallas, Texas. What, once again, has been your personal struggle in professional wrestling, and how has it affected your outlook on the business?
Acceptance.
Talk about it.
Like I said earlier, my personality, I have a loud, vibrant personality, so sometimes that can come across as intimidating. I've been trying to find my foot and to make people comfortable, so I try to work on my approach. I try to at least, feel like who are you? Where you come from, who you are, how you talk, you know what I'm saying? So the thing that makes me how I, get over on it, I just learned that be yourself. It's people that like you for who you are, what you bring to the table, how you come across. And I appreciate those people more than the people that I am trying to get to accept me.
You don't need to impress anybody. Just be you. Yeah. Just be you 100% of the time.
I would say my biggest personal struggle is dealing with self-doubt. That's something that I've sort of been struggling with my entire life, and just wondering if what I'm doing or what the type of content I'm creating isn't enough. Because there have been times where I will cry to my boyfriend and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing something wrong. Like, what is going on? But, I have people around me who will literally encourage me and tell me, like, what you're doing is enough. And I'm working on telling myself that as well, and just knowing that who I am and what I do have to give is enough. So a lot of it is my own self-doubt, but I'm conquering it every day and conquering fears every day. So that's basically what it is for me, is fighting with myself. So.
What's the question again? I think you all asked. No, it's okay. Personal struggle and how has it shaped your outlook on the business?
So, my personal struggle within professional wrestling has been, oh man, it's something, but one main thing has been not giving a fuck about what other people think about me. That has been a struggle for me because I would say, growing up, you always want to, I was in a position of always having to appease people, especially being a young Black girl. We lose our childhood very early. We lose our youthness, and we're forced to have a lot of And so with that, it followed me into professional wrestling. And as me being as great as I felt like I was, having superiors over you who's constantly telling you what to do and how to be, and you sometimes think, well, damn, if what I'm doing is this good enough? What is it right? And then another part for me was like, but I was living towards how I made other people feel. And I had to learn that it doesn't matter what the fuck other people feel. And I have to focus on what makes me happy. And what I feel good is about myself. And once I learned that it was like, fuck that MJ, you gotta live for you. And you gotta be you for you, because if you live your life for other people, for the approval of somebody else, you're never going to be happy. Like, how many of us want to be happy? Right? How many of us want to be satisfied in our own lives? How many of us want to do like our goals and our dreams, our aspirations, our hobbies? We want that to be our own, so I had to become mentally tougher, right? And it's already heavy on women. Black women, that's the backbone. I had to stop being mentally tough for everyone else and be mentally tough for me. Because it's time for MJ fucking Jenkins. And that's
Two more questions, and actually, if you guys in the audience have questions for the panel, I'm gonna ask after this question, so just line up over here, just so that we can be a little organized, because that's how I do it. All right, when you girls, women, when you hear Black Girl Magic, what does that mean to you? And I'm gonna start with, of course, the lovely Miss Stephanie Parker. So when you hear Black Girl Magic, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
When I hear Black Girl Magic, I just think about us being unapologetically who we are, our smiles, our hair, our style, our everything is there. And the fact, and it's like, when I think of Black Girl Magic, I think about it being magic regardless of anybody else being able to see it. It's like, okay, you may not be able to see the magic yourself because you're blind or you're stupid or whatever, but at the end of the day, the magic is gonna still be there. My magic is still here. Like, it doesn't matter if anyone else can see it or not. The magic doesn't just magically melt away. Like, it's there. And when I see Black Girl Magic, I think about you, I think about y'all too, I think about every woman who's just fed into me, whether it be from far away or in a close relationship. Like, I just think about all of us and how we just consistently prove that we are the standard and we are the bar. And it's beautiful.
Black Girl Magic is those wrestling girls, me, Stephanie, you know, Kendra, everybody. I think of queens when I hear Black Girl Magic, because we all are queens in our own way, whether you are considered quote unquote ghetto, professional, shy, awkward, dirty, etc. All of y'all. Black Girl Magic is queens. We are queens. We are the foundation. We are the standard. Everybody want to be this. Everybody. White people, all y'all. Everybody want to be Black women. That's Black Girl Magic.
So Black Girl Magic, what does that mean to me? I can say, I spoke earlier about my personal struggles, right? Black Girl Magic has taught me to 100%
black women living in their truth, 100% owning it and being proud of it. And what I realized is, the truth is, a lot of black men, they do follow our lead. So, the more proud we are, the reason why we're so strong and confident is because we know that you men are supposed to be stronger. You know what I'm saying? So the more stronger we are, the more powerful you are.
I never saw
and that makes us all be a very strong community. So the Black Girl Magic is for all of us.
That was powerful, Queen. That was powerful.
If you guys have questions for the panel, begin to line up over here. My last question before we do give it to the audience for questions.
That's all I can see, man.
What do you feel is the reason why in professional wrestling there hasn't been a strong black woman stable in wrestling? I ask this because one of my favorite things in wrestling are stables. I think they're very powerful. I think they move the needle in ways sometimes we don't see it until after the fact. But one thing I have noticed in my video years really long, American Loving Wrestling, is there hasn't been any predominant black woman stable that has been able to have that type of play out and have the type of character and have belts and have those opportunities. So in your opinion, what is the reason why we haven't been able to have a long-term stable? And that's cool. But right now, we cannot name 4 black women that are together. We can name 4 white women that are together. That's not a problem, but I'm just saying. What are your thoughts on that? I'm not talking to you.
They scared so well because they ain't ready.
This isn't our show.
Shout to the Shepard-Sims.
I'll start it off. It's simple. Intimidation. Intimidation.
Shout to so
And this ain't even in wrestling. This is throughout history. It's proven that any black woman or black women that band together in some form of intimidation, they try any way possible to tear it down. By calling either derogatory names or, quickly to say, give the angry label, or quickly to say, oh, they a gang, or here they come being quote-unquote loud, there they go. So it's intimidating. It's intimidating. That's annoying, to be honest with you.
I would have to agree with her. I feel like it's there has to be a change within professional wrestling as far as there has to be more of us in the decision-making room. Otherwise, we will always give just like you see what's happening now, now that there's also pride going on, you'll get the picture with the person that we know, it's like that, but there has to be us more in the role in the decision-making room. And also, I feel like another thing is a lot of us have to get out of the phase of being like, oh man, we can't act that way because how such and such is going to look at us. Do y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do y'all really understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
And I've seen a lot, and I even checked somebody WrestleMania weekend for that because you can't look to the man for approval on how you should behave when the man's behavior ain't even a good fucking standard.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit. Let's go. Yeah. Say that for the people in the back. Yeah. Shoot, man. Go ahead, preacher, man. Woman.
With that being said, we have to really, and I'm just, there's another side note, please understand, there was not a difference with Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King. I just want y'all to know that. One is victimized and one is praised. There's really not much of a difference. Because we're all on the same accord for the same thing. So what I want to say is we have to also change our mind frames and wanting approval from a specific person. Because when we join together and we make things work, we are no longer at each other's neck for a position. There's work on us mentally that we need to do, and there's on us to help each other to get in those positions so that we can make changes. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Go ahead, Mama Dershie. Go ahead, Mama Dershie. Go ahead. Come on, Steph. Like, come on, Steph.
I live. In my opinion, I feel like the reason why there hasn't been any black female stables is because it's almost as if they feel like, oh, it shouldn't work, or maybe they want to perpetuate the idea that we're all separated. Or they want to give off the impression, oh, well, maybe it'll just be better if they're just separated from each other. Or there's a system in place that wants to keep us separate. And that shouldn't be the case, because honestly, when we're together, like, beautiful things happen. And honestly, and to piggyback off of what MJ said, it's like, it would be less of that if there were more of us in charge. And that's something that we talk about on Women's Wrestling Talk a lot, about how there should be more women, in the background, telling our stories, telling, all the stuff that we go through on a real basis, in terms of storylines and everything else, and opportunity, because we understand ourselves. And it's just like, if we understand ourselves, then it will reflect, more in a more authentic light. So I feel like the more opportunities that women are given in the background, as well as the more opportunities that we're given in the background, the more we can change things and actually show in an authentic way that black women together as a stable can actually work. And we can't wait for anybody else to do it like we have to do it ourselves. So yeah, that's how it has to be.
All right, so we're going to turn it over to the audience for some Q&A. If you have a question, if it's for the panel, say that. If it's for the particular person, say that, okay? Because I know you. I gave disclaimers for you guys are just not privy to it. But the person that's about to ask the question, I knew that.
She had to clarify. Okay.
How you doing, everybody? Mr. Black and Job says, Hi, ladies, doing that. This is a great job for our panel. My question is this. How you guys deal with the hate that y'all gave from online? We all in similar wrestling group. Shout to the Jenkins Wrestling on Facebook. Shout to us. Shout to Soul Kids. Shout to the Twin off from HR. How you guys deal with it? Because I see Stephanie Hart, one of the sweetest women, ask a question and a whole bunch of men attack her. Or she will ask a question, people ask a question, and they want to test her knowledge about wrestling. Or they want to question a black woman, why she champion, why she doing certain stuff. So my question I'm asking is, how you guys deal with hate from black men especially, and how you guys, and what do you have to say to us men that who may not know how to take that defense? Basically, feel this question. I'm tipsy, chops it, tipsy, drink. Yo, son, brothers, tipsy, son. Nah, let's get back to business. It's not about me, it's about them right now. So basically, this question for y'all. Part one, how you guys deal with the negativity from black men? And two, what do you guys have to say to us that could probably help y'all in that cause?
I got it. Okay. Oh, okay. That's an easy answer for me. Because everybody know I will cuss you back out. I'm not, listen, if you knock on my door, I'm answering. And it's how you knock on my doing
I seen it. Efficient. Raw.
That's just how it is. That's how I am. But like I just said, sometimes people come and Stephanie crazy. You see me because I know how Stephanie is. Not saying that some people that don't defend themselves are this, but some people would rather protect their peace. And I'd rather do both. I can be peace in two ways. I can be peace and I have peace. So I'm gonna say no like that. And I also want to say to black men, the black men in here, if y'all do see black women get, you know what I'm saying, attacked for no reason, y'all need to say something. Tell me what you make your man or something. You know what I'm saying? Just step up. You can be we shouldn't have to be your sister or your auntie or your cousin or anybody for you to say something. Say something. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the problem that I have personally that I see, sometimes y'all ride for your bro, but then when it comes to another sister that is just as supportive, just as in the clique as you, y'all don't say nothing. So y'all gotta start saying something. That's why so many people get, become a Twitter thug or social media thug. That's why they able to do the stuff that they do, because sometimes they know that ain't nobody gonna defend them. But I'm gonna defend myself. So if you come at me crazy, I'm gonna come back at you crazy. It depends. So that's my answer.
Well, I will say at first, anytime I would get hate, I would either it's happened before. Oh yeah. It has happened before, and some looking, praise God for him, he was like, he popped off, he was like, you're not gonna disrespect her. And I appreciated that so much. And I was just like, yes. But the way I deal with it is like I either delete it because I don't have time for it. Like I literally don't have time for it because I got stuff to do. And I just know that you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm about. Exactly. You don't know me. And it's just like, how can you sit up here and think you got it all figured out when you don't know my journey, you don't know my story, you don't know everything I've been through to even get to this point, to have this platform. So I rise above it and just delete it and just move on with my life, because at the end of the day, the only reason you're doing negative or saying negative stuff to me is because you wish you had what I have. You're hiding behind like a profile picture of a cartoon, like sweetheart.
Little thick energy. Yeah. Little thick energy. That's
yeah, it's like if you're gonna say something about me, the least you can do is say it to my face.
Right, exactly.
Be bold about it. But if you're not, then I just ain't got time for you, because you don't know me and you don't know my story. And as long as I continue to shine, I will outshine you, because I'm the sun.
He will outshine you.
The question was,
Janelle from HR, everybody.
So the question is, how have you dealt with hate in professional wrestling? Because, your journey going from Impact and going to Mega Classic, now NWA, and working indies, how have you handled hate from all lines? And how can the black men in this room and around us on the watch this support you?
Okay, I just want to say something real quick. Everybody, look at my little brother and sister. That's my baby brother, Zamonte, and that's my baby sister, Kira Jenkins. That's probably on my phone. I was paying attention to my mom's calling me for my baby. Yes. So the question was, how have I handled the negativity? So, yes, being signed as an Impact Knockout, being signed to Rawrrzone Entertainment, working NWA, I would say it's not even just the online negativity, it's online negativity, co-worker negativity.
I've dealt with it. I've had to do a lot of affirmations. I'm gonna be serious. And I had to realize I had to stop entertaining the negativity because I would wake up, I would go to sleep with feeling upset, and then I would wake up feeling upset. And it was just like a ridiculous, vicious cycle. And all of a sudden you don't realize what you're thinking in your mind, your actions follow. Like everything. So I would really have to stop. I would have to stop listening to it. I would have to stop responding to it because it affected my daily life. And what I've noticed is when I spoke the truth, and even if it wasn't black men who got angry, if it was somebody else who got angry, it was always because I was right. It was always because I was right. And more than about when COVID first happened, I remember, and it was at the height of Breonna Taylor, and this was around the time where I got my freedom from the company, and all of a sudden, everybody started tweeting Black Lives Matter. I don't know if you saw it, but it happened, and I put, when the company sends the mass text message, telling everybody to tweet out. Yeah, I got hate from everybody in the company. People were mad, but the truth was, that's what happened. So I would say I've learned to speak my truth, and I've learned to also know that not every battle needs to be a battle.
Pick and choose.
Not every issue needs to be a battle.
Pick and choose your battles.
And as far as the black men who sometimes don't defend us, I need to let y'all know. I hear you be the black, but I'm the lights that keep the streets on. I hear you be the black, but we are the lights that keep the motherfucking streets on. So, just keep that in mind and stop coming for us. Keep that in mind.
No, do stop coming for us, because when we come for you, as Kiki said, she got the piece in the piece. That was a ball. I have to bring that back. All right, Izzy. One question. Let's go.
Hello everyone. Okay, so my original question was about how each of you handle criticism on social media. Because like I run through, I feel like I've seen and heard it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like people saying shit just to like start something or like all levels. But I feel like I have to paraphrase like a different question because there's always talk about these forbidden doors and what happens. I felt like when it comes to like people of color, like really like black like content creators or podcasters or even wrestlers. I feel like that's been like that sort of forbidden door. It's like you did it. It's like people are gonna hand it to you. You just create one. So I feel like my question is that like how do you how do you manage to like create your own forbidden door and just walk through it in terms of like opportunity, in terms of like really like being as authentic as you are here in the conversation, but also just like making a lane that like nobody else would.
All right, simple terms, because I love this. Shout out to Izzy. He handles our Twitter on the JavaScript podcast. So if you tweet, I got the bluebird. I tell everybody that. I love for me. But Izzy is the one that handles that. So basically the question is, what has been one opportunity that you made for yourself that no one gave you, that no one offered you? What's an opportunity that you was like, this is me, I'm here?
Okay, so one opportunity that I made for myself
myself, recently, now, I know, how many of you guys have heard of wrestler stories of how they got put on? Anybody heard of it? And they've done things, some people I know the airport carrying wrestlers' bags, right? And people saw them, they liked them, they gave them a chance. So, recently, with NWA, mind you, I did take a year and a half hiatus from wrestling, and I saw Mickey James' Empower. And this one I was like, all right, I want to come back. So I knew her because she would train at the Performance Center when I was there. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, I already knew what I wanted. I was like, hey, can I come by? Yeah, sure. And she, oh my God, I love you. I miss you. Great. I come by, I showed up, and even though I did not get my opportunity to wrestle, remember I said that I manifest and I say affirmations? I constantly did that every morning. Now I'm back in the gym, I'm back in the ring, I'm training hard. And one thing you need to know about professional wrestling or anything that you do, you show up for the part that you want, not for the part that you have. So, I put myself in the position by constantly showing up, by constantly being there, by constantly being available, and by constantly putting out content of who I am. And lo and behold, because of my work ethic from my past, and because of who I presented I was, who I am now, that was what gave me my opportunity to now be a part of the NWA.
My engagement. Usually, the people that I do support naturally, like Shepard-Sims, Backstage Brawl, Black Wrestling Podcast, the Wrestling Realm. Like, I just started engaging with everybody, and they was the ones that was, y'all was networking for me. Hey, I got somebody here. So, I don't really have a story on how, to answer your question, but I would say for me, it's mostly engaging who I engage with. And I just keep engaging with the same people that show me love.
Well, I would say my opportunity came after I decided to sort of step out and to start my own podcast. And honestly, that has triggered so much of the blessings that I have received so far in wrestling, because this wasn't the thing that I wanted to do, with my life at first. But I would engage with wrestling, communities as well on Facebook. And there was one community that wanted to start a thing but never did. And I just took it upon myself to go ahead and just start it on my own, because I had stuff I wanted to say. So once I did that and continued to do it as the pandemic happened, and I continued to share my content as it grew and stuff like that, that was where people started noticing who had been in it for so long and had done jobs in wrestling for so long and stuff like that. And honestly, all of this has just been a moment to just like a test of faith and stepping out on it, because you just never know what could happen. And I started commentating because one girl, Miranda Morales, who's out in Arizona, who is a ring announcer, saw that
Y'all getting loud over there. Y'all be quiet? Thank you.
They totally the same one. She saw the work that I was doing and saw that Casey Dillon was in need of a commentator at the Bella Daughter division. And I was like, well, I've never done this before, but since I, have this podcast, let me just try. And I told her about what I have and what I do or whatever. And I sent Casey maybe 45 seconds of a clip from my podcast, and she wanted me immediately. And I was just like, what? You sure? Like, okay, girl. And I just went ahead and just did it, and that's really what it's been. But it's also been hard work as well. Like, I practice considering I never really commented before. I practice and off of what I hear from wrestling that I watch, and I also practice and try to put my own flavor on it. So you always have to put your own flavor on things and just step out on faith, because you just never know what blessings are in store when you do that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Brian Waters. Come on, what's the age mean? Howard. Brian Howard Waters is to the front, y'all.
One, I appreciate everything that y'all do. I want to know, when was the moment that you knew you was living in your purpose as far as the wrestling business is concerned? Because you've been thinking, the moment you knew, like, I'm supposed to be here. And the commentators, the moment y'all knew y'all was doing what y'all was supposed to do as far as creating content and being a positive light in the business.
I would say the moment that I knew I was supposed to be in professional wrestling was when I got the opportunity. I did a wrestling show, and out of nowhere, Gail Kim calls my phone. And she's like, hi, I'm sorry, nothing's wrong with you. I'm like, wait a minute, what? She's like, this is Gail Kim. I was like, mind you, I'm sorry, Angie, I don't mean to bother you. And I'm just like, Gail, you can call me anytime you want. So, mind you, the moment I knew it was that that moment was like a small validation moment for me, right? But then also was, I put my foot outside the box from what I was told I was allowed to do as a wrestler in training. I went against my trainers who told me I needed to not go out and just stay at the school. And when I did that, I wound up getting booked for several shows, and that was like my first outside show was Evolve, which became, everyone knows Evolve became 205 Live. So, yeah, that was basically it for me. Going against the grain and then having it work out for me proved to me that I belong and that I was on the right track and that I'm supposed to be a professional wrestler.
I know, to be honest, I don't know. It chooses you. But most importantly, when you have people that reach out to you, the little question that Brian asked me off here before, he told me, what took you so long? And that meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. He said, what took you so long to start the content or to start being in the wrestling community? And from that and getting booked to do commentary in Texas, it's a hard question, to be honest with you. I don't have the answer to this question, but I do appreciate being in the community. I do appreciate the love. And like Janelle said, it finds you. It finds you. So, you got the stronger.
Well, for me, it was 3 moments. The first moment in podcasting it's kind of like, well, it was 2. So in podcasting, it was when Teddy Long wanted to interview with me, and he says, look, I don't interview with anybody because he said there was one time where someone took a clip and it went viral and it was negative, so he decided really not to do it as much. But he saw the work that I was doing, and then he also saw that I was from Birmingham as well, because that's where he was born as well. And he was like, okay, since you're from Birmingham, let's do this. And I did it, and just interviewing with him, like, that was really early. And this was like when I was using Zoom, and it was going back and forth between my face and his face and my face and his face. And the technology is amazing. But either way, like, that was one moment in podcasting where I felt like it clicked. Another moment in podcasting felt like when it clicked was when I was on Daughter's Ears. And Janelle wasn't on that episode. It was just Mr. Black and it was Sir Wilkins. But I felt like I made it when I was on there. And I was like, man, like this is it. Because I remember scrolling through Instagram and watching them sit at that table and talk about stuff. And now here I am on the show. It was crazy. And I love you. And then when it comes to commentary, I felt like I made it when Jazz was on her retirement tour. She did the Belladonna show. And my commentary bestie, Scott Resner, got up to hand someone a chair. And I had to hold commentary by myself for like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. But I stood up and I commentated as much as I could. And I got real intense with it. And I was like, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And I was going ham, and I was like, I just did that by myself. Okay. And I would say when it comes to, there's another thing that I was going to say. Another moment where I feel like I made it was just a few weeks ago when I was on the stage with Trish Stratus, Lita, and Mickey James. And this is at Alabama Comic-Con, and this was only my third time at that convention and my first time having a fan table. And they saw me with my t-shirt on and they remembered me. And when I wanted to ask them a question, I was just like, and Trish was like, and you have a wrestling podcast. And the guy who was moderating it let me come up there on that stage and ask them that question. And I asked them about it, and I was just like, like I'm doing something right. And that just made me feel like I wasn't trying to do any of this at first. And I was just working in Birmingham, just trying to, survive as an adult and figure out adulthood. And now wrestling, which is this thing that I love so much since I was a child, has turned right back around and given me so much more than I could have ever dreamed of. And I'm just so grateful for it. And that's when I realized that this was it for me, and this was just 2 weeks ago. And now I'm here in New York, which is where I dreamed of coming my entire life. And now I'm sitting here looking at people I've been on screens with. That's even more of confirmation that this is it. So I didn't even get emotional and start crying.
Y'all have to understand, I was very particular about who I wanted to join on this panel. And for Stephanie, it was important for me because y'all understand, this is her first time in New York.
Yes.
This is her second panel that she's done. And the one thing I always stress to her the last 24 hours that we spent roaming the city is that she can come here at any time if she has family. She has people here that will watch her and protect her. And that's really what the business is about. That's really what we're about. Because I know for me, every time I be like, I'm over all of this shit. Not gonna hold you. He attest to it. I'll be like, I am done. And to have a moment like this with y'all, to share this with all of you, it always reminds me that this shit is bigger than all of us in this room. And that is what keeps me going. Is that I know that if I can pave a way, if I can do something, then she can do it, then she can do it, then Pretty Heels can do it,
Yeah.
those wrestling girls can do it.
Yep.
Everybody can do it, and that's important. And so it's okay to get emotional because this is what we love. It has not always loved us back the way that we loved it, but if we continue to love each other the way that we love this business, then we always gonna be okay. And we can always be emotional. And we can always laugh. And we can always have a moment. Because at the end of the day, and I always tell the boys, we always got it. That's always gonna be the
Yeah.
So it's okay to be emotional. Ain't nobody gonna judge you in here.
Nope.
This is a safe space. Alright, we on time, so I'm gonna take 2 quick questions. Oh, yeah. Cause you got time. No.
It's not even a question, it's really
Go ahead, real quick.
it's really a salute to all the ladies. Y'all out here, y'all doing the damn thing. Y'all really paved the way, not only for us, but for those who are gonna come after us. So I'm just very proud, and I'm very happy to have you guys, to see you guys in your element and our element, and y'all just gotta keep going. Don't ever, ever, ever stop.
I gave you 2 stars. You know.